And of course, all the benefits that come through legislation would be really wonderful. But at this point, I'll go for the ceremony whether they recognize it or not.
10 years ago, I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to be part of a patriarchal system. I thought that, who needs that? I don't need any laws. I don't need, the government telling me I'm married. If I'm in love with somebody and I want to make a commitment with them, then that's my own business. It feels different. It's that, definite commitment, and then it's also your commitment to each other's families. If you're lucky enough, like we are, to have supportive families who are willing to be part of that commitment.
There is definitely some solidity in it that was unexpected. Like you left on guards you didn't even know you had. And it's fun. Too.
It's totally fun.
I've known Sadie for 20 years, and I just know Michelle through Sadie. Every time I talk to Sadie, they talk about where to move, where they can get married legally, and I guess they've decided that that really isn't an issue, which it shouldn't be.
We arrived in Austin on their wedding day, the 23rd of October. It was the most beautiful wedding that I've ever seen. Just on the verge of tears the whole time, tears of joy, and having both families so supportive.
And I think that's what's important, is seeing families representing their children, both sides, in complete and utter support of their love, having no bias of gender.
I think that when our friends, Cami and Cindy, got married, that was really inspirational to us, and I feel like we've done that now for some other people also. Like you said, wow, this could really happen for us.
Use the word partner, and people don't know what to do with that. I had people thinking that meant my business partner, and I was an entrepreneur. I say girlfriend, they don't know what to do with that. They think we're friends. So it was very confusing, and all of a sudden, when I finally had the strength to start using the word wife, it was hard, and I didn't like the word at first, but I find that it works. They understand what a wife is, and they may give me that look at first, and at times it still sounds strange to me, but the message gets communicated clearly, and they know what kind of commitment is behind the word.
I don't think that there's very much difference, except for there's a law that says that we can't get married, and other than that, I don't think that our relationship is much different than any other love relationship that you have between a person and a person.
When we got married, we decided to hyphenate our last names.
We got real lucky when we went to go change our names. Well, first we went to Social Security, and they were like, "What's this piece of paper? We can't honor this." So then we went, walked a couple of blocks, went to the DMV, handed that, filled out the form. Oh, I want to change my name. Yeah, here I got married. Here's my form. Here's my domestic partnership.
Yeah, you want to talk about feeling second class.
Yeah.
To bounce you from one agency back to the other, from federal to state, federal to state. We don't recognize you. We don't either. We don't either. You better find somebody that will recognize you. Well, the county recognizes us. That's not good enough. That kind of runaround, it makes you feel about that big sometimes.
We really are second-class citizens. We are the only group that is, isolated and legally discriminated against.
The Lesbian Gay Rights Lobby of Texas, otherwise known as LGRL, is a statewide organization that works on behalf of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community in Texas. Well, the truth of the matter is gay marriage exists. Two people can consider themselves married. There are churches and synagogues that recognize gay unions. But the fact of the matter is, in Texas, we do not recognize those marriages legally. Therefore, gays and lesbians in Texas are shut out of over 1,000 rights, privileges, and responsibilities.
You know, the way that our system is run, it is important to have legal rights.
How not being able to get married legally affects us financially is huge sometimes. And we went through a lot of hassles to get our house, to get it legally the correct way so that we were both truly owners and not seen as separate entities. And we still have that doubt in the back of our minds that if one of us passes, this house will end up in a court somewhere. We'll never have that true sense of security.
Those who are pushing these laws that discriminate are always talking about personal responsibility. And marriage is a responsibility, and it's an obligation, and we want that obligation and responsibility.
Love is a choice, and getting to have that is a beautiful thing. And then the duties come.
Historically speaking, it's very, very real that we will have equal rights as well. Like, what was it, 30 years ago, interracial marriage was illegal for the exact same arguments, you know, that they said it would, you know, break the moral fiber of our country or whatever. And it's just like, you know, it doesn't really affect those people.
It has to be a cultural change before the legal changes can really stick.
It's interesting how things have changed so rapidly over the past 2 years. Gay rights have advanced at lightning speed.
I hope that, you know, the legislation changes and opens up and realizes that, you know, this is a real issue.
I would think it would be hard to live in culture or in this life and not think that it doesn't have, politics doesn't have something to do with our lives.
What's going to change is that people are going to get used to the idea. We're here, get used to it, right?
I think that a lot of people look at us and reduce us to our sexual orientation and don't see that that's like one small part of who we are. We're human beings as diverse as any other group.